Hey all, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. I've called this class Lengthen and Strengthen as we're going to be building strength through our body while simultaneously finding full range of motion and working those muscles in an elongated state. So when you're ready, we're going to come to an all fours position and we'll just go for some cat and cows, opening up through the chest and then pulling the belly button up, curving through the spine. We inhale as we pull the chest through. Exhale, rounding through the spine, feeling that nice stretch down your back. Forwards and then backwards. And then come to a position where we settle that spine in between both of those extremes. Wrists underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips. We're going to send one leg back behind us, keeping that torso still, extend the other leg back. Pointing through those right toes, we exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Lifting and lowering through that right side, pointing those toes so that we tap the top of the foot down on the mat each time, keeping those hip bones square. We'll go for one more and then draw that same knee in towards the chest as you curve through the spine. Elongate that spine as you send that leg back behind you. Keeping the toes pointed, we draw in and out. Option here, coming towards that left knee, doing the same thing with that left knee on the mat. If not, staying in that extended plank position and then rounding through the spine, keeping that knee hovering, sending it back behind you. Last one, we hold that knee all the way in towards the nose and then drop it down on the mat. We're going to lift that opposite left leg up towards the sky, lower down, lift back to that right knee, extend it back behind you, draw the back towards the nose, lower back down, lift through the left leg, lower, lift the right knee, extend away, right knee to nose and lower, lift through the left. So alternating each side, combining those two movements we just did, just with both legs this time. Still focusing on keeping that torso in line, those hips in line, pointing down towards the mat. And now we'll stick to just the left side, lifting through that leg and lowering back down, elongating those muscles, reaching those toes away the whole time. We're going to find length and height through that leg while still keeping that core engaged. And then we can start to involve that opposite arm. So that left leg, that right arm lifting together and lowering back down. Again, not compromising that spine. So we're pulling up with that belly button rather than letting that lower back arch too much. This time, once we get to the top, we're going to draw the knee and the hand in towards each other and then reach away. Opposite hand to opposite knee. Finding that length and then that contraction. Our body weight, we want to try and keep it as central as possible. So we're not shifting side to side with the body. We're staying nice and even on the mat. Maybe you want to add a slight little pressure into that thigh as you press in. To maybe get a stronger engagement through that core. Last one, we hold it out, we reach, and then we'll lower the arm, the leg down towards the mat, tuck those toes underneath, and then just pivot on that underneath knee, facing the long side of your mat. We'll interlace the fingers behind our head, reach up and over, reaching that elbow down towards that bent knee, back up through the center. Reaching away, back up through the center. So we're reaching away from that extended leg, imagining we're through two panes of glass. So we keep that body in that nice side line. And we're working through those obliques. Thinking of using the upper side of the waist to help you lift back up through the center. And then reach away again. On this last one, we'll lower that underneath hand down towards the mat. Lift that top leg to hip height. Lower it back down. Bring your body back through the center. Same again. So we're thinking of isolating the leg and the upper body. Lowering the body down, lower the hand, lift and lower the leg, hand comes back up and then you bring the chest back to center. Again, we reach away, bring the hand down, lift the leg, this time elbow to knee, reach away, crunch that waist in and reach away, working those obliques still, pushing the floor away with that underneath shoulder, pulling the upper side of the waist in and away. We'll lower that foot down, reach that underneath leg, back behind the other one. We're in this side plank. We're going to reach up to this three-legged dog as we reach the hand back towards the diagonal and then open back out towards the side plank. Think of lifting those hips up towards the sky as you reach through and then open back to your side plank. The next time you're in that side plank, we're going to hold. Think of strength through the waist, through those legs, through those arms and shoulders. Nice, and then swivel yourself around, pushing yourself back into a downward dog. Just sending the chest through and then ripple through your spine to that full plank. Bend the knees back to your downward dog. Forwards and backwards, just moving through the spine. This should feel really good through that spine. Taking as much time as you need. Just moving in your own time, mobilizing through the spine. And then taking a moment in our downward dog, pushing the chest through. And then we'll lower those knees down onto the mat. We'll swivel ourselves around and go again on the other side. So we come back into our all fours position with our hips over our knees, our shoulders over our wrists. And then we're going to step one leg back, keep that torso still, step the other leg back. We're going to point through those left toes this time. Exhale to lift that leg. Inhale to tap the toes down. Those fingers are spread wide. We're pressing down into the floor with those palms. We're pulling the shoulder blades apart and we're keeping that torso strong with that belly button pulling up. And then we can start to involve that curl in. We're going to bring that knee towards the nose and then send that leg back behind us. Curving all the way in and then reaching away. Each time maybe reaching that knee closer towards the nose. After our last one, we'll lower that knee down towards the mat and then start to involve that right leg. We lift, we lower, and then back to the left, knee towards the nose. Extend away, lower back down. Right leg lifts, lowers. Left knee comes towards the nose, reaches away, back to the nose and lowers, alternating each side. We're looking down directly at the mat and we're keeping the back of the neck long. Imagine we're holding up the ceiling with the back of that neck to support through that spine. And then our last one here, we're going to lower that knee down and just lift and lower through that right leg. Just on that right side, keeping those hip bones square, both hip bones pointing down directly to the mat. Again, pushing the floor away with those hands, holding up that ceiling. And then we can start to involve that left arm, opposite leg, reaching away and then drawing back down towards the mat. Body weight staying central, trying to minimize any rocking side to side. And then use the breath each time you lift up through your arm and your leg and then lower back down. We'll finish off our last one and then we'll reach that hand towards the opposite knee, squeezing our way in and then reaching away. Pulling the belly button up as you press into that thigh, engage through the core, find that deep abdominal connection and then reach away. Maybe look down towards the knee. And then our last one, we're going to reach away, we're going to hold. Find that hold, find that length, find that strength and that length, and then lower your way down towards the mat. Pivot that knee around, face long ways on your mat, interlace the fingers, bring them behind the head. Reach that elbow down towards that hip, exhale back up through the center. Inhale, reach away from that extended leg, exhale through the center. We're working those side obliques, feeling that length on one side and the strengthening, the contracting on the other. As one side lengthens, the other side contracts. Each time thinking of that lower rib reaching down towards the hip bone. And the next time we reach over, we're going to lower that hand, lift through the top leg to lower, hand back behind the head, back through the center. We reach over, lower the hand, lift through the leg, lift the hand back to the head, back through the center. So we're working all the way through that side body, through the obliques, through the core, through the shoulders, through the glute med, through those legs. This really is a full body exercise. Again, moving through those two panes of glass. And then the next time we lift up, we're going to reach that elbow towards the knee and then reach away as you look down at the mat. We squeeze all the way in and reach away, using that strength through your obliques as you bring that elbow towards the knee, and then finding that length through the spine as you reach those fingertips all the way in the opposite direction from your toes. And then we'll lower that foot down towards the mat, extend the other leg behind it, and then reach to the back diagonal of your mat, back through to side plank. Coming into that three-legged dog as you reach away, all the way back, follow it through to your side plank. Sending those hips up to the sky as you reach back. And then finding our final side plank, we're going to hold it here, keeping those hips lifted. And then swivel ourselves around. Push the hips up towards the sky, downward dog. Ripple through the spine, come back into your full plank. Send those hips up to the sky, downward dog. Just moving forwards and backwards. Like we did previously, getting that mobility through the spine. Our last downward dog here, pushing the chest through. Our last ripple through to that plank. And then we can lower those knees down towards the mat. Send those legs out in front of you. And we'll come to sit on the mat with our feet flat on the floor. And we're going to bring those hands just behind our shoulders. Our fingertips either facing forwards or facing out to the side if this feels uncomfortable. And we're going to think of sitting tall with that spine. So we're going to pull the shoulders down away from those ears, pull that chest through. And then we're going to lead with those hips as we exhale, lift up to this reverse tabletop position. Inhale as you lower those hips down towards the mat, just to hover. Keeping that chest open, that chest lifted. Exhale as we squeeze up, lead with that pelvis. Inhale, lower those hips towards the mat. So even as those hips lower down, we're still thinking of growing taller through that chest. Shoulders always staying open. And now we can progress this a little. Next time we lower those hips, we're going to send them back behind us, further than our wrists. And then reach the hips back up towards the sky. We're rocking forwards and backwards on those heels. Think of someone pulling your hips back towards the back of the room and then reaching back forwards, reverse bridge. Think of pulling that belly button in as you send those hips away from you. We're just rocking on those heels. We'll go for 2 more of this variation. Thinking of keeping those shoulders down away from those ears. Option continue with this, or option if you want, we're going to extend both legs out long. We're going to anchor those heels down in towards the mat. We're going to point through those toes. We're going to exhale, lead with those hips again. Inhale, lower the hips towards the mat. Exhale, we lift those hips. Inhale, we lower. Pointing through those toes, chest staying tall. And continue working through this, up and down. At any point, if you need, just bend through those knees. Maybe an alternative option as well is having one knee bent, one foot flat on the floor, and the other leg extended long. Anchoring those heels down. Last one, we lower those hips down. We're going to reach those arms up towards the sky and just reach up and over those legs. Grabbing hold of those feet if you can, just holding this hamstring stretch. Letting your body fold forwards, relaxing that neck down. And just slowing down the breath here. Letting the belly relax. And then gently rolling up through the spine, we're going to reach those arms forwards. Tucking under with that pelvis, we're going to roll down through the back, one vertebrae at a time. Reach those arms overhead. We inhale, lift the head, neck and chest, look towards those toes, rolling up through the spine, up and over those legs. Keeping that C curve in the spine, we're going to roll away, rolling down, slowly on towards the mat, arms go overhead. We inhale, we lift, we look towards those toes, press the belly button down, exhale, reach up and over. Reaching over a giant ball, and then slowly rolling back, keeping those feet anchored the whole time. Arms go overhead. We inhale, we lift, we look towards those toes, press the belly button down, exhale, lift, reaching up and over. And then grabbing hold of those ankles, we're just going to make sure we have some space behind us so we can come to lie down on the mat, hugging those knees in towards our chest, maybe taking some gentle rocks side to side. And then gently rolling up to a seated position, and we're finished. Thank you all for joining me. Hopefully see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.